Alright, fellow deathbats, welcome in to Nessa's Chime, and in this video, I wanted to talk about a subject that the internet's kind of been talking about lately, but it's been more or less a topic where people are starting to make people feel uneasy, they're trying to start aiming at people who, they do this, it's kind of a hobby, but it isn't too much of a big hobby right now. It used to be a hobby like in the early 2000s. Back when the metal scene actually was at its most popular. Now, we've seen metal take off again, and we've seen some things take off again in that manner. But what I am talking about is tattoos. Now, as you guys know, I have my death bat here, and I have a few others that I have on, going up here. I almost have a full sleeve. Now, the thing about tattoos to me is that they are pieces of memories for me, meaning that anything that happened to me around that time, if I really like something, that's why it's on my body. And people need to start looking at that as the example of why people get tattoos. Now, there are people out there getting tattoos that don't make sense at all, and of course, I still see it as an example of a piece of a memory for the person. For me, I'm gonna get more eventually, but I'm doing pieces of art and tattoos that relate back to me and who I am as a person and hobbies I like, but not only the hobbies, but the memories of the hobbies I have. They're great memories of stuff, and some of the art on my body, like this one right here, it's been something that's if you read my comic book, you know that that's a piece of art within my comic book. And that's the thing about tattoos is people don't naturally want to look at them that way. They want to look at them more as like, well, that's not cool that they're doing that. That's what, they just think it's stupid. They want people to regret it, and it's gotten to the point where lately people have been doing that a lot to me. At least that's what I feel. Like I like what's on my body. I love this Attack on Titan tattoo, which is right here. You can't really see it, but it's underneath. The sun's glaring. It's underneath. Yeah, right there. So it's right there. And if I take a step back, you guys can literally see. So hold on. Let me show you. So that right there, I got that one done a little while ago, and I need to fill it in. But it's supposed to be the color green, and I am going to actually get it filled in with more color eventually. But for now, I have it as it is. And regardless of how anybody else feels about something, you can compliment on my tattoos all day, and you can be down, you can, be harsh and hypocritical on them. But at the end of the day, I like what's on my body. I don't like Spider-Man as much anymore, but I used to like Spider-Man once a while ago. And that's the point of getting tattoos. You always have a memory on your body, regardless of what point in time you are in. And that's why there's stuff from Legend of Zelda I'm going to be getting tattooed on my body. There's other stuff I plan on getting tattooed on my body. Like the background is going to be a Tetris board eventually. At least that's what I want to do. But tattoos are a way of expressing yourself. They're a memory, and they describe who you are. At least that's what I feel about them. Now, if anybody gets anything else, which I've seen some really stupid tattoos, I'm not going to be judgmental. But nobody that gets tattoos normally says they regret them. At least what they get. Now, let's go into the topic of, is it a sin? Now, this is from Leviticus 19 through 28. The Bible addresses body markings in the Old Testament, specifically Leviticus 19 through 28. The verse states, "You shall not make any cuts on your body for the dead or tattoo yourselves. I am the Lord." Interpretation of this verse and its relevance to modern tattooing practices are debated among Christians. Alright, so let's come back to the main screen and I'll talk about what I think this means, and I'm going to give my opinion on it. So, My opinion on this, if you do your research, and there's, you know, the Bible states that, and there's a part in the Bible where people were getting tattooed after somebody had passed. Um, I don't see tattoos as much of a sin as, let's say, drinking. Okay, you're going to go out, drink, you're going to go out and, you're going to go out and do some drugs, something like that. I don't see tattooing myself as a sin. Because why? Let me explain. Tattoos are sacrifices. Why are they sacrifices? They are sacrifices because you are implanting something on your skin that actually hurts when you get that image tattooed on your skin. And when if and we need to look at it that way, and we also need to look at it as like, I see it as a like I said, I see it as a celebration of a victory of something good that happened in your life, because that's going out and treating yourself to something small. Items aren't going to last forever. A tattoo will be lasting forever on your skin, but when my soul goes to heaven, my flesh isn't going to heaven. So yeah, the verse says it there like that, but it doesn't mean that all the time. Remember, the Bible was translated in a way where it's a topic up for discussion most times. You can read it as it is and believe that's what it says, and I'm sure I'm going to get corrected in the comments or somewhere along the lines, because I've already had that done. But the topic is always up for discussion, and you can look at it how you want. But in my eyes, I do not see tattooing myself as a sin. I see it as more of a sacrifice, and then I get the blessing afterwards. And the only way I could see it being a sin is if you get something very vulgar on your skin, or you get something very hateful towards God, or you get a marking that is satanic or demonic. Or we can even go into discussion of, you know, getting something sexual in your skin. Like, there are people who have jokingly got a penis on their skin, but that's not something you want to actually do. And most times I see men with tattoos of naked women on their body. And I see that sometimes even on women where they get the image tattooed on their body and it's of a naked woman. And as a guy, yeah, I might not have a problem with it, but as a Christian, it is not right to have a tattoo. It is considered well, not right to have that. I wouldn't see that as right of having that as a tattoo. Am I making up my own form of Christianity? I don't believe so. I'm being lenient with that rule. The rest of the Bible, I try to follow the best as possible, but there's still a lot of stuff that I need to learn from it. And that's why, like, this topic of tattoos and making people feel bad about them, you gotta remember, they made this decision for themselves. Who naturally are you to judge for making that decision? Yeah, yeah, I might have some Christians come after me over this, but this is always the topic up for discussion. And look at it how you want, but I don't foresee tattooing as naturally a sin. I do see it as a little bit of a victory thing. I see it as, most people from the military, they get when they graduate, they get their emblem tattooed on their skin. And I see people do that all the time. So we have to look at it as, how do you look at it? This should be a subject that everybody should talk about and get into. But yes, at the end of the day, I have always seen tattoos as a memory of my life. It's a memory that shows me what either I once enjoyed or what I enjoy now, and I take them with me to my grave on my flesh. And remember, the only thing that's going to heaven is my spirit, because I've accepted Jesus Christ. It doesn't mean I'm still going to go out there and sin now, but it means I'm trying to be the best I can at whatever it is I'm doing, and try to be the best Christian I can. And I mean, sometimes I do get into correcting people, but that's the topic for my other channel, my Christian channel, my Bible channel. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to talk about this because I've seen people lately give, people with tattoos a hard time, going off on them, and it's a bunch of misconceptions and people arguing about it. And at the end of the day, who the hell are we to argue? God knows what's best for us at the end of the day. And, at the end of the day, um, I'm still here on Earth. I'm not dying from this tattoo, so that's how I look at it. But I am going through quite a bit of stuff right now, so I don't know if that's has something to do with, that. I doubt it does, and I doubt tattooing's a sin, but I do really feel like you should really look into it and think about it yourself. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I am out of here. Take it easy, and God bless you, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.